gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special, Hour 2. I'm Burdick, that's Sparky, and we have another special guest in the building with us, another 5'9" fighter, a 3-3 record as a pro, Salvatore Bruno. What's going on, brother?
Not much. Just woke up about an hour ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we get a lot of the time here.
Yeah.
Trust me, we understand.
Wake up.
It's and as I was telling him off break, these guys are training a lot, but you actually got a short notice fight coming up, though.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that in a second. But you're a two-time 5'9" featherweight champion. You won via TKO in the third round in May. So talk about that fight a little bit and how preparing for all that was.
That fight went pretty much as good as it can go. I had a perfect 6 week fight camp and preparation for that. The only downfall of that one was I did miss weight on that. So
did you really?
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out a better diet plan or something for those weight cuts down to 135.
How much were you down more?
I was over like 4 point something pounds.
Oh, okay. So it was considerable.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it was a pretty good miss. That was the first time I ever missed weight. So the coach, he was hesitant on taking the fight. The other my opponent's coach, he said, this guy needs to not surpass 154 when he rehydrates, or else we're not taking the fight. So I pretty much rehydrated up to like 154 in a couple hours, and then had to kind of hold my weight and check it every couple of minutes, and then be like, all right, I could have some more water. And so that was tough.
So for people who don't know what type of fighting you do, how would you explain it? Are you more of a striker? Are you more of a ground and pound kind of a guy? Like, how do you usually go about it?
I would say I'm definitely more of a striker, especially in my pro career so far. I've all the way up till this fight, I mean, I really haven't thrown in a lot of takedowns until that one. And so I told myself, why do I keep striking with everybody? I need to mix this. This is mixed martial arts. So
right.
I put that in the back of my head going into the fight, and I shot some double legs and all of them landed. So I was like, no, I need
something going here.
Yeah, I need to do this more often. So yeah, I'm more of a striker. But
so being a striker, obviously weight matters, because more weight behind your punches, obviously more power.
Yeah.
So do you prefer fighting up at up at the bantamweight or down at the featherweight more?
I honestly, I like fighting at featherweight because it's so much easier to make weight. I feel a lot better during camp.
It's a little more natural for you.
Yeah, I'm not so depleted and stuff, because I naturally walk around healthy at about 160.
Oh, okay.
And so getting down to 135 is like, it's grueling. It's like I'm on death's door almost. So
so talk about that a little bit, though, because I don't think people who just casually watch really understand what you guys as fighters have to go through to make weight.
Yeah, it's such a crazy process. Like, it almost seems impossible, but when you're really cutting that weight, so like, not only are you dieting and eating like very limited amount, you're burning tons of calories every day, and then your body's obviously not able to recover as well when you're not eating enough. So on top of that, at the end of the the last week, I would say, of a fight camp, you're doing what's called a water load. So it's like bodybuilders use this method too, that you drink a ton of water, you kind of cut out salt, cut out all your carbs, and that way by the end of it, your body kind of just pushes everything, all the rest of your water out. Like, if you drink an over excess of water and you're not putting enough salt in your body, you're actually dehydrating yourself more. So by the end of that, that's when you get to that last day before weigh-ins, and then you cut, the day of weigh-ins, you cut the rest of that water in the sauna, and by
just kind of wash it out of your body.
Yeah, by that time, I mean, you're just dying. So yeah, literally.
Well, and then obviously you guys rehydrate to get into the fight, but usually this is a process that takes, like you said, about 6 to 7 weeks. You coming into this fight here this weekend only had 11 days to get ready for this, right?
Yeah, I had 11 days notice. So when I checked, because I didn't check my weight that week when I took the fight. So I had checked it the week previous, and I was like 168. And they wanted to fight at 150. So I was like, cool, I could do that. let me see what my weight's at. So I checked my weight and I was about 160 pounds. So I was like, all right, 10 pounds, that's like cake work for me.
Okay.
So yeah,
It's not something that you were kind of that worried about then, was making weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I mean, but talk about preparing for a fight in general, though, in under 11 days, because obviously you have to do your homework on who you're fighting, how they fight, and all that in order for you to actually get the win, right?
Yeah. So the guy that I'm fighting, I mean, I've had my eye on him for,
This is Tyler
years,
Miller.
like I was telling you before we started.
Yeah.
So I kind of know his style. I know how he fights and what I'm, prepared for and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, I wasn't really too concerned on like, I need to work on this. I need to work on this. I knew on 11 days notice, like, all right, I'm ready for this guy.
Mhm.
I was already training and everything back in the gym. So
how do you approach this, though? Just knowing that, you were just kind of casually training and now you're like, okay, I got a fight coming up in 10 days. Do you look at this more of like, okay, this is a building block fight for me. This is kind of something I could test my craft and figure out what's working for me. Or is this more of like, are you taking it just as seriously as you would something that you trained 7-8 weeks for?
yeah, I'm definitely taking it just as serious because obviously as a professional, I mean, those blemishes on your record don't go away as if you're an amateur. You can have a ton of amateur fights and you could take some losses and stuff, and then when you turn pro, your record's you're 0-0 again. So I mean, it's really for the experience as an amateur, but as a professional, those marks matter when you have those losses. So I've had 6 pro fights, and all of my opponents have been all game opponents, and so like when you compare records with somebody else, you kind of look at this guy's record. He might have a great record, and then you look at the guys he beat, and it's like, well, none of these guys really even have a win yet. So sometimes
it just matters who they're going up against.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
a lot of those guys are getting padded records because they have a management company, and they're like, we're going to give you this guy. They're building you up. You know what I mean? So that way you look great. It's just like boxing. Almost. Yeah.
So it makes them look much bigger than they actually are.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
okay.
And I really did want to test myself on a short notice fight because, when you got to be ready at all times, really, in this sport.
Is this your first short notice fight? Not to cut you off, I apologize.
No. Yeah, this is the first short notice fight on that short of notice. I've taken fights on maybe a couple weeks notice, but like on this short, yeah, that's a first for me. I mean, under 2 weeks is very short notice. So
okay. And then obviously with this being somebody you had your eye on, that's probably the main reason you wanted to take this, right?
Yeah. I like the opponent. I wasn't gonna go like, okay, here's a guy who's 10-0.
Yeah.
11 days notice. I was like, let me make sure that this is obviously a winnable fight.
You're not getting set up to be a punching bag here for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna fight a guy, and not saying I wouldn't fight a guy who's got a great record.
No.
But I would want that actual couple, 7-8 weeks preparation for that.
Right.
So this was an opportunity where I said, I think I'm good. I'm good to go. Plus, I just came off of a fight camp. Like I said, I fought May 10th, and I was already pretty much in shape. I only took about a week off to kind of let the little dings and stuff heal up. And I'm still a little bruised up from the last fight.
Right. So and that's got to factor in a little bit too, right? You haven't really gotten the full healing process done yet.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, but I'm good enough, to go into the fight healthy. So
naturally. Yeah. Now, self-indulgent question. This is going to be a dumb one, but hopefully this will make you laugh, right? You guys obviously get walkout songs. Please tell me your walkout song as we don't talk about Bruno.
No.
Dang it.
My uncle.
Dang.
Yeah, my uncle keeps telling me to do that one. I mean, I might have to do it one day.
Dude, I'm telling you, you would probably kill it. At least get people's attention if you switch to that. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, you know what? Next fight, I'll do it.
Attaboy. See, that's what I like to hear. A little bit in there. I like that.
So we're talking to Sal Bruno. 559 Fights 115 is going down this Saturday, June 14th at the Eagle Mountain Casino out in Porterville. And you can get your tickets. Just go to 559fights.com. Now, I saw while I was prepping for the interview, your nickname is the Bull.
Yes, sir.
Where did that come from?
A couple different reasons. My coach's nickname was the Bull as well. And so it kind of really just fit in with my style of fighting. And then also it kind of just flows well with my name. You know what I mean? Salvatore the Bull Bruno, it kind of goes nicely with it. So I'm also Italian, so the bull. I just like the way it sounded. And my coach, he told me as an amateur, he's like, "Look, you're gonna have to earn this nickname."
I was just about to ask.
He said, "You're taking my nickname, so like you're gonna earn it." So he told me, he's like, "You got to win the title, 559 fights, and you got to defend the title once, and then you're the bull after that."
Which you've done twice.
Yeah,
obviously.
so I did that. I won the belt. I knocked the guy out in 16 seconds, and then they gave me a guy who was undefeated, Division I wrestler out of Cal Poly, and I beat the brakes off of that guy for 3 rounds. So he hasn't fought since. So
I mean, sometimes that doesn't transition over well. So once you get rocked like that, it's hard to bounce back. So
yeah, I don't think he had fought a guy like me yet.
No.
And when he did experience that, I mean, I don't know.
Well, when you take the bull, you get the horns, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, that's what they say. I know. You said you've kept an eye out on your next opponent, which is Tyler Miller. What do you know about this guy? What kind of fighter is he?
This guy, I mean, I know I'm not underestimating him at all. I know he's very athletic, very strong guy. He was cutting a lot of weight to get down to 135 as well. And actually, Isaac, that was supposed to be here. He fought him as an amateur quite a few years ago, and they had a great fight. I thought Isaac won that fight, and he ended up losing to a split decision to Tyler Miller. And so I also have another teammate that faced him in a jiu-jitsu tournament and beat him. And so, like I said before, I was supposed to fight this guy for my pro debut, and he turned it down. That was in 2022.
Oh,
and so, this has kind of had a lot of
that gives you a reason.
Build up for
Is there a little animosity behind that right now, or
no animosity? Like, we have respect for each other.
Okay.
I don't do a lot of the trash talking and disrespectful stuff for my fights. It's just not in my character. I don't want to be fake about it. You know what I mean? So I'm just authentic.
Like a good Italian.
Yeah. I try to be.
All the talking happens at the dinner table when you're Italian.
Yeah. Well, I'll let the fight do the talking.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Thank you so much for your time, Sal. We appreciate it so much. 559 going on this weekend. Go check it out. Tickets are still available. Are you the main event, or are you just in the mid card?
Yeah, I'm like mid card. I'm like the fourth professional fight on the card.
Nice.
There'll be a couple ones after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, beautiful. Go get them. We'll talk to you after the fight. And if you're out of town or you can't make it, they still do streaming. So just go to 559fights.com. We'll talk about this and much more right after the break. Thank you.
Appreciate your time, guys.
Right here on the Early Bird Special, ESPN Bakersfield, 12:30 a.m.
101.